I am so excited to have Emily Machado on the call today. She is someone that's been on already in the Walking with God in Nature series, and I'm so excited to have her back on today and to hear all that's going on in her life, all these exciting new things. Welcome, Emily.
Hi, Shelley. I'm glad to be back and chatting with you. It's
Yeah, this
crazy.
is yeah, it's fun. So let's start. So you love nature, right? We
Yes.
talked about how you love nature in the last podcast. And tell me about what's going on with nature again. You have this, just catch us up. What's going on?
Okay. Well, we moved to the Pacific Northwest. We kind of live near Portland, but we live in Washington State. We're out in a small enough town that don't have to deal with traffic and have that community feel, and then have access to the Columbia River and the mountains and the Cascades and Olympic National Park and the beach. Like if you've heard of Cannon Beach by Oregon, I know you have.
Yes, I've been there many times.
Yeah, it's all just really close. And I've only lived here 1 year so far, but I feel very lucky that I didn't experience any of the sadness that people kind of feel with all the rain that happens over the fall, winter, spring. I was just like, it's still beautiful, so it's okay. I'm
Yeah.
good. And then yeah, so it's just like a whole new ecosphere, and that's been really fun to see all the waterfalls all the time, and just try to go out and hikes. And just where we live, we only have 2 acres, but we have like a frog breeding ground in our little pond, and we have deer come through and all kinds of new birds. And apparently the hummingbirds are even active in the winter here. And yeah, it's just beautiful. And we've got like a little side part of our property where it'd be so fun. I've got a goal to build a tiny home there where people can come and stay and visit, and they feel like they're just surrounded by the woods of the Pacific Northwest. And
That's awesome.
yeah, so definitely in nature, living up here. But yeah, just some crazy kind of things are just building and developing and kept me really busy.
Yes. So tell us about Rader. What is that?
Okay. So it's pronounced Rader, and it
Rader,
actually, yeah,
yes.
you're good. It's I did the same thing. Okay, so so have you
How
ever
did
had
it
any
start? You
Yeah.
are in it with your husband, Joe Bob, or are you doing it?
Kind of.
Okay.
He's very, very supportive. Okay, let me tell you how it started. Okay.
Okay.
Have you ever had anybody ask you, like, what's your big dream? I feel like you, Shelley, are chasing your big dream. Like you guys are building on property and homesteading and everything with your family and things like that. I really had no idea for a long time. I really felt kind of a little lost in motherhood and just in my life, and disconnected from what really kind of fueled me as a person. I knew there was that nature connection and spiritual connection that I felt good about, but I guess I'm pretty industrious, and I kind of felt like there's something more. But I had a dream actually where I felt very clearly that God was telling me that I need to start a camp. I used to work at an outdoor adventure camp in Colorado. I started going there when I was 12 years old.
That's right. I
Yeah,
remember now.
yeah, I saw something on TV, like PBS or something, back in the day when TV had channels, and it was advertising or Outward Bound. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to rock climb. I want to climb mountains. I want to do all those things. But you couldn't do that at 12 years old. But then we found this one program in Colorado you could. And I just kind of grew up in Colorado in the summers doing all kinds of outdoor adventure sports, and just really gained a lot of independence, a lot of confidence, and resilience. Like, I can do hard things. I can fail. I can be talked to like I'm this big and get through it, and things like that. And yeah, and I really had a feeling that I really needed to create an environment like that for youth today, but then also base it on Christian principles, because
Yeah.
I'm a very strong believer in, we can do all things, and Christ strengthens us and supports us. And
Yes.
um, yeah, just the way he talked in his ministry and the way that he led, like service and loving others. And um, yeah, I'm pretty sure that Christ had some grit,
Yeah.
you know, and, but like, have it be kind of inclusive. I went to different Christian camps as a youth and just kind of got kind of a negative taste in my mouth in some aspects, and just really don't want that. And so that's kind of part of what I had this dream and vision of building. And so my husband's like, yeah, let's save up money. Let's try to find property. Let's do this. And meanwhile, I'm just like, I have no idea how to do this, but okay, I'm going to still keep working towards this, God, And so I started interviewing people that I really admire that have really great outdoor adventure camps,
Mm-hmm.
and gleaning information from that. And then I just happened to hear that actually a leader in the church that we go to had a very similar like feeling and prompting to start something,
Wow.
a youth leadership program. And his last name is Rader. And that's just a really great name.
Okay.
So we kind of were kind of directed together, and like it was just really cool how we're just like throwing ideas at each other, and we're like, yes, yes, that's what we want, that's what the youth need, and that's what we want to provide. And so yeah, that's kind of how Rolla started.
That
Raider
is
Leader
so, that
Outdoor
is
Adventure.
so exciting. Yeah. So what exactly will go on? Like, are you close to starting? Have you already started? Where are you in that process?
Okay, so where we've started is we've started the classroom portion. So we do kind of an indoor leadership classroom portion where for 6 weeks, youth come once a week after school and learn about different topics like communication for connection, resilience for mind and body, um, leadership skills, financial smartness,
Oh, that's good.
literacy,
Mm-hmm.
um, and a lot of really great things that'll just really, I've learned so much in this portion. I know it's not just for youth, but and so we started that in February. We got through our first pod of youth, and we're so happy that they really loved it, even after being at school all day, coming and learning more, sitting down, learning and discussing. There's some hands-on that goes on too, but we challenge youth to make it like an 8-point day, we call it. You get 2 points for working on yourself spiritually, physically, emotionally, and just kind of working on those things every day. And then we finished with a ropes course challenge. So we did some small challenges where you just kind of build trust and things like that, and exercise those good communication skills. And then we do a ropes course challenge where they're trying to they got to figure out how to get everybody up this wall, and things like that. And they do it, and it was just amazing, just the confidence that they had and the things that they got through with very little support from us there. We did a waterfall hike and fishing on the Columbia, and then next month we're all doing an overnight backpacking trip, which will be all of their first time, which will be really cool.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
That's awesome.
so that's
Really,
where we're at.
really stretching them. So you're in it and you're going. So how is that? So it's the same group. So this is a long-term thing where it's not just come once, come for a month, we're done, right? You're doing
Right.
this month after month. So they're really
Yes.
probably bonding with their group and growing from each other as well. I love it.
Yeah. Yes. Like that's one of the things I noticed in my journey through trying to grow personally is that I could have like an amazing experience like over a weekend, like listening to different speakers or conversations or things like that, or reading a great book. Um, and I'll learn some things from it, but it doesn't totally stick, because unless I'm like really making a conscious effort to implement that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when you've just got a community of people backing you, uh, that sticks a whole lot better. And
Yeah.
so one of our goals is we're going to stay in communication throughout the year. We're going to do different trips and activities throughout the year, whether it's winter, whether it's raining or whatnot. And so bronze level will do kind of these introductory things, and then silver and gold and platinum and things like that, and to the point where they're leading the show, and deciding the challenges and things like that. But the goal too is to have a base camp. So we're looking for property right now here in the Pacific Northwest, kind of nearby, so that Portland and Seattle people can kind of access it, and just take advantage of the beauty here. So we'll have a base camp where it can be an overnight thing in the summer with groups, and we'll have a outdoor ropes course and an indoor ropes course, so that the rain never,
Inhibits. Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Because that's a big factor in Oregon,
yeah.
in that
Yes.
Washington area.
But yeah, so
that is so exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. It can be a little daunting, but yeah, the excitement kind of helps feel it along. And we've got a great group of people. So
that's good. So it's not just you and this other gentleman. It's just you have a team.
Well, yeah. So it's mostly us and our families right now.
Okay.
So his wife is really supportive. He has daughters that are really helpful with social media, and they've done the ropes course challenges with him too. And he's an excellent teacher and speaker. I'm a little better at like organizing things, but then I'm like, okay, we need to get more out in the backcountry, and that's kind of what I push. And then my husband's supporting too, and then my mom's helping with like I don't know, this part of things, like
the typing, the communication stuff.
yes, all that kind of behind the scenes accounting and things like that. So
well, that's fun that you're all coming and supporting each other. And it sounds like with your partner that you're bringing out your strengths and helping each other in this work. So this is so cool. This is so good. So what are some things that you've already seen from the youth in this group that you've worked with?
Well, I've seen a lot of, I guess, stretching, because some of them would come pretty shy. And because some of them were from different homeschool groups and things like that. And they've really kind of stretched themselves and kind of gotten out of their comfort zone. We were just at a fair kind of talking about what we do at Rolla, and these youth stepped right up and just talked to strangers and kind of explained it. They've definitely gained a lot of confidence, where before they'd be like, no thanks, I'll pass on that, or that's not for me. They'd just be like, sure, I'll try it. Just kind of a big change in attitude. And it's been really kind of cool, because as they're just learning these things, like, okay, let's talk about communication, afterwards they'll be like, that was really cool. Like, I felt closer to God than I did in church. Like, just talking about these things, they'll be kind of vulnerable with challenges that they're really experiencing in their high school age, and open up, and then just to feel the support of each other. And yeah, so that's kind of some of the stuff that I've seen so far. It's good.
Yeah, I think this is an amazing opportunity for the youth, and just building all these skills, but then, solving their problems together and outside of this curriculum and things that you're doing. I mean, it's incorporating all parts of their life and will carry them forward throughout their life, I believe. And That's so exciting. It is so needed. It is so needed.
Yeah.
So what I know you're into a bunch of adventures and uh what are some what's yeah, seek adventure. So
Yes.
why for you? See, and I want to, these strengths that you're creating and helping these youth develop, and then this adventurous part is it makes it so fun. So why do you think you seek adventure? Where do you seek adventure? Outdoors and other places, right?
Yes. Um, yeah, so that's been kind of a fun learning process for me, just kind of clinging to that concept of adventure because um just kind of going through like feeling like I'm in a mess state of life with COVID and all the things and just growing. I'm like, okay, what sparks joy? What brings me joy? And where can I show up as my best self for my family and friends? And I kind of pinpointed that when I'm feeling adventurous, whether it's like trying something new or doing something spontaneous or going on a hike or traveling, things like that. And that's really just become one of my core values I've identified with. And so I just kind of am trying to share that joy with other people. It
That's
not
good.
just with this camp and with my family, but I started another adventure. I'm a travel coach now. So
Fun.
what which is really fun, but to be honest, when I became a travel coach, I really had no idea what I was getting into because I it
I think
started I
that's
was
the way for a lot of us when we get into things, right? That we have this vision of it, but then it totally changes once you really get into it. And it's not
yes.
how you expected sometimes.
Yes, it's like what did I get myself into? But then, as you're pushing through it, right, growing in grit, then you kind
Yeah,
of see some of the fruits of the labor. You're like, okay, this is good. This is worth it. This part of the path, part of becoming. Um, yeah, so I was trying to plan a Disney trip for my family. It got canceled with COVID and I had to replan it. We were going to go to support my oldest son in band, and it's like, okay, let's get these kids to Disney. And I ended up finding this one lady, Sarah, on Instagram, and she just shared all the cool tips and all the fun things, and I just like bonded with her virtually. I was just like, she is awesome. I just like, I love her personality. And um, so we just started having conversations. I'd ask her different tips. I ended up not booking my trip with her because I was like trying to be very frugal, and I purchased it through Costco, which you can save a teeny bit of money when you do that. But I realized afterwards with certain hiccups that I was kind of like locked in to what I bought there and got no further assistance, and kind of saw that as a travel coach, not only would she have helped me book my trip, right? Like, okay, let's find what the right fit for you and your family is. What are your favorite
Mm-hmm.
things? Get this all tailored to you. But they're kind of like with you the whole step of the way. Like, okay, how do you save time in line? What's this Genie Plus craziness? Or, you know, how do you get from point A to point B in Disney World when there's all these crazy things here? Or what do you do with early hours? Just all the things. And also, if there's a problem with your hotel room, they can help and advocate for you, making those dining reservations that like book up really crazy quick. They have like quick systems to do that. So I kind of realized that even though I saved a little bit of dollars, I lost a lot of value booking it that way. But I just kept following her on Instagram, and then they said, "Hey, we're looking to hire for travel coaches." And I had just visited my oldest daughter. She was working in the Disney area. She was actually working at T-Rex Cafe in Disney Springs. Have you heard of
Oh
that?
yeah, I've not heard of that before.
It's like a rainforest cafe, but dinosaurs.
Okay.
So there's like big live dinos and a meteor shower that happens, and she would do build a dinos, like build a bear for kids that come through.
I have a friend that has a son. He's, how old is he now? Like 6 or 7. And he's all things dinosaurs, all things reptiles. He knows them all. And so I'm going to have to share that about that with her because, yeah, we'll be all about it.
Yeah, it was pretty fun, and she loved it. And so we went down, just my other daughter and I, my younger daughter, which wasn't my older daughter. So we went on a little girls trip, and then we just spent one day in Animal Kingdom, and then just had so much fun there. And I was just coming back from that trip when I saw that Sarah with Purple Banana, they were hiring, and I was like, oh, that sounds fun. Because ever since all my Disney planning, if ever anybody was talking about they were taking a trip to Disney or they were going to go to Universal Studios, because I'm a huge Harry Potter nerd, I had some input I wanted to share. I was like, okay, you really don't want to miss this. And oh, don't do it that way. You're going to waste too much money, but this is worth it to spend money on this, indulge on this. I was like, yeah, I definitely have an opinion to share. I can totally help coach somebody and travel. And my husband was like, yeah, do that. And maybe we can like get some more ideas and discounts for our family to travel more. So I applied and then got interviewed, and they're like, okay, you're hired. I'm like, great. Now what? And then I get a lot of training, and then I basically, like, it dawns on me. Everybody else knew this, but maybe the blonde hair, it took me a little bit longer to figure out. I'm a travel agent. It's like the same thing. So I've heard of travel agents before, but that's not what I identified with what I was applying to become. And I think just because the impression I had of travel agents was just totally different. Like
stiff.
Yeah, stiff, someone that wears a suit, sits in an office and gives you all the brochures and tries to sell you on the most expensive stuff and then take some of your money. Like you have to pay them, right? But I was like, that's not what I do. I like help them find all the inside cool, fun things and help them get the most value. And they don't pay me any money, because the way that Disney, Universal, and cruises and all-inclusive resorts, a lot of these vendors work is the price that they charge you if you just go and book, like, okay, I'm going to do this, is the same price that I charge. It's the same, but they build in a fee for travel advisors, for travel coaches. So I just, like, Disney pays me to take care of you. So I was like, I'm not a travel agent. I'm just like helping, and Mickey's splitting the bill. And it just sounded better, like a travel coach. I don't want to. I hate selling stuff. I am not a seller, and I don't have to do that. I just offer my services, and if you want it, take it. If we jive with what kind of vision you have for your travel, then we're good to go, ready for adventure.
So you said you have a love for Harry Potter. Is this when we met, that was 2012.
Yeah.
That's Harry Potter then, I believe.
You remember?
Yeah, because I think you just had all the books. I think that's where my girls were introduced, because your son was reading, I think, Harry Potter at the time.
Oh, really? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So the way I got introduced to that was, so both my parents have their doctorates in education, right? So they're like big into reading. My mom ran a private school, and I didn't like to read growing up. I just didn't like to read. And it wasn't until I was like in my late 20s that a friend introduced me, and she was like, oh, just read the Harry Potter books. And I'm like, that sounds silly. You want me to read a kid's book, right? Or a youth novel. And I started reading them and just kept turning the pages, just really enjoyed it, just like the magic and the characters, and just became immersed in the whole world, and just a fan. Ended up seeing one of the movie premieres, one of the last ones, like the night it came out, and got startled and like scratched my forehead, which was very appropriate because I like reached to grab my face when I was scared. Because then I had like a little scar, just like Harry Potter on my forehead.
You're bonding, becoming one. That's so
Yeah,
funny.
I don't know. And it's just been fun. Like I have other adult friends that are really into it, and you get sorted into your Hogwarts house, and I love it. And the rides at Universal Studios and the whole world that they've built around it is so immersive and magical. Like it's just like it's magical.
I
Very
know
fun.
some of my daughters would love that. Yeah. They didn't have that last time we went there.
It's yes, it's the main attraction. That and the Velocicoaster. I love fast roller coasters, and the Velocicoaster is a Jurassic Park theme roller coaster.
Okay.
And it's super fast and smooth with all the loops and turns. But most of those roller coasters, have like a shoulder harness to keep you in safe. Well, this is just a lap bar.
Oh
So
my
you're
gosh.
like, whoa, but it's, nobody's died on it. It's pretty safe.
You hope so.
But it's just so fun and like freeing and just really fun. Like you're flying, running from velociraptors, I guess. It's fun.
Wow. I don't know. I like roller coasters, but yeah, I don't know. I like ground too. I mean,
You get pretty close to the ground.
yeah. I'd try it, but yeah, I'd probably freak out. I don't know. But I love all the different adventures that you're doing. And I mean, those are big undertakings, both things that you're doing. How do you manage it? And I mean, you have this family, you have two little kids, and they're busy, right? And
yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then I substitute teach because I love being involved in the school district where we are in our community, and need to bring in some income because we have a really big goal to try to pay off all of our debt right now. We've been trying to do this our whole marriage, and it's just still there. We just never goes away. So we're really trying to get some better discipline. I'm learning a lot from the financial literacy portion of my Rader leadership classes. But and for me it's really hard to try to kind of put travel on hold a little bit, so I'm just kind of trying to downsize my travel goals a little bit, and just really dive into work here and helping other people have fun adventures and pay off some of that debt. But as far as managing it all, I am still figuring that out. So
it's a process.
yes, it is, because like I can get really sucked into trying to be really productive, like creating content that I feel like people will engage with online and that they'll think is funny and entertaining and like inspire them. Like, yeah, I want this fun person to help me build my travel because I want to have fun like that. Or, really diving into the leadership content, like planning all these different hikes and different things and getting all of that foundation. And then my kids are home for the summer and I'm like, okay, go play, go do that. Let me finish that, go do that. And I'm not very happy with that balance right now. So I'm trying to figure out like a better system. Like, okay, so this much time here, this much time here, this much time in the garden, and let's go do this. And I've always been kind of rebellious against like a rigid schedule like that. I feel like it makes me feel trapped or something like that. So I'm finding kind of a more fluid model of just like, okay, I'm going to do this much more for this time and then stop. And then we're going to go to the lake and play in the sand, and that seems to be working pretty good. Help me working on it. Have you heard of a Pomodoro timer? I hadn't either, but my purple banana travel ladies, they recommended it. So one of my friends who knew that I was into Harry Potter, who's a travel coach, she sent me a Hufflepuff Pomodoro timer. So I just went on YouTube and searched up Hufflepuff Pomodoro timer. And what it is it's like either 25 minutes and 5 minutes, or they have different time increments. But so for 25 minutes, this little video plays of like you're in the Hufflepuff common room at Hogwarts and you just focus. You just get as much done as you can in that time. And no matter what, when that timer ends, you need to take that 5-minute break. You get up, you stretch, you get a drink, you go check this or do that. And then you can cycle that as often as you want. But it's just, that's helpful to me because I'll feel like, okay, I'm sitting down to do some work and then I'm kind of working. I'm kind of doing this other thing. And then I'll just load the dishwasher or I'll do this other thing. So that's a helpful tool I've encountered.
That's good. Yeah. To create that focus and really hone in. Yeah. Cause I get distracted easily. I know I do.
Yeah.
So
Do you too?
Oh yeah. Like I'll go in to do something on my computer or on social media and then I click, and then I'm like, why did I even get on here?
Yeah.
So
yes.
I
Good.
think
I'm not alone.
yeah. So sometimes making that intention, I think that's important. And I'm trying to do that more consistently is what's my intention of doing this, getting on this computer or whatever.
Yeah.
Writing it down sometimes. So just stay focused.
I love that. Yes. Focus on an intention. Yes. Yeah. Because we all struggle with focus sometimes too, right? Whether we're ADD or not.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I mean, and I feel like, and I can't remember if we talked about this before we started recording or if it was when we were recorded, but you mentioned about how Christ as your center. And it seems like, family is your core. You have your family involved in everything and you're trying to focus and balance everything. And then how does Christ at your core help you with all this? And you're implementing it also in the Rader program.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Try not to get emotional. Yes. I feel like I know that life is just so much better for me, for my loved ones, when I can pause and kind of refocus, right? Be intentional. And a big part of that for me is to try to reconnect in prayer. I would love to be more disciplined in different study habits to keep growing closer to Christ. So I'm going to try to work on that some more. But I know if I can just pause and reconnect in prayer, it just kind of, the path just kind of lays itself out. Like, and then there's that confidence because I know that my Savior is not going to lead me down a path where it might be really hard and some really hard things and trials might happen, but it's going to be what's best for my family and for me and for people I love and community, because I know that that's Christ's character. He is about loving one another, right? And in all the things I do, if I can just kind of reconnect back to that, like, hey, how is this showing love to myself, to others, to family, to community, then okay, it'll be good. And sometimes it can be really hard to sift through all of the stuff to get back there, but pausing and reflecting is good. Or breathing, like one of the podcasts recently, I like that. That's an important reminder.
Yeah, to just breathe. And I like that Christ needs to be the center of our lives and how he can guide and direct us. And like you said, it's not meant it's going to be easy all the time, but we grow through our trials, just like through your program with the youth and how you're stretching them, you're getting them out of their comfort zone and helping them find where their core is. And I think, having Christ as your core will help you to grow more than anything.
Yep. Yeah. Just get centered and have that foundation and that confidence to get through hard things and not just bow out, not just be like, nope, this isn't for me. Because yeah, there's something to be said for being self-aware and not putting yourself in a uncomfortable situation, right? But being able to push through that and have that confidence that, you know what, this can happen and we can get through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we really want for people we care about, right?
Yeah. And everyone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yeah, just like you were saying, Christ served. He served
Yeah.
all the time and he had that grit, right? So
Yeah.
as we're putting ourselves out there and being vulnerable, it will be hard sometimes, but then we'll also have that growth. We'll be serving others in the process, even just sharing experiences, and helping people grow through trials together. I think that's a service in itself, just a listening ear or a support.
Yeah. Just a smile.
Yeah.
And yep, absolutely. And it may seem like you've heard all this stuff before, right? Like, oh, it helps if you just smile or if you just listen, or follow Christ. And some of this stuff can just feel like noise that you've heard and just go in one ear and out the other. But there's something about going through something really hard challenge, whether it's just falling in your lap or whether you consciously go and do it. Like, I'm going to climb this many feet in elevation with a heavy pack,
Mhm.
and not get to sleep in a comfy bed that night. But whether it's something like that, or whether you're out in just being outside, whether you're in the wilderness or not, just being outside. Like, I'm surprised how much when I'm just like a Disney park, just how much like just joy I can feel and love for other people and community and things like that. It's just yeah, I'm kind of rambling right now, but
You're good.
it all makes sense in my head.
It makes sense. Yes. Just the joy of being out there and being with others, basically community and being with others and the support of your family and everything. It's just, everybody's building each other. That's, at least we hope, right? That's what we're trying to do,
Yeah.
is help everyone rise, and we rise together. So
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Putting it to words for me. Thank you.
Well, this has been so fun to talk to you again, Emily. So can you tell everybody where they can find you for both the Rader Adventure Youth Leadership and Adventure Program, and also
Yes.
as a travel coach?
Yes. For sure. I would say I'm most active on Instagram. So for travel coaching needs, if you want to travel somewhere, whether it be Disney, whether it be Universal, whether it be a cruise, whether it be something more adventurous, an all-inclusive resort or something like that, just a nice tropical resort resort experience. I've just getting trained in all of these different things to find what the perfect fit for you is. And so my name on there is M Ostrid Adventure. EM short for Emily, and Ostrid's my middle name, and that's just how you can find me. M Ostrid Adventure, and I'd love to help you find some adventure and travel for your family without a lot of the stress and logistical obnoxiousness for you. And then for ROLA, which is the acronym for Raiders Leadership and Outdoor Adventures, that's on Instagram as Rader Youth Adventures right now. We also have a website, and all of the links will be on there. And we're in the Pacific Northwest, and our next class is starting September 12th. We're also available for small groups and to go into schools and things like that. So just reach out and send a message. Love to chat with you about either one. And if you are interested in booking a travel trip right now, I've got an Amazon gift card I'd like to send you if you book with me, or if you refer a friend that books their travel with me. So.
Awesome. Exciting. Thank you so much.
Good to chat with you, Shelly.
Same.